Hi friends, it's time for our read aloud. Today we're going to combine our read aloud with our math lesson because we are reading a book about weight. All right, so we've been talking about measuring things in a non-standard unit. This book will talk about weighing things non-standard and standard so you can see the difference. And then we'll go over the math sheet for today. All right, let's get started. Weight. All right, let's talk about weight. Weight is a measuring word. We weigh things to find out how heavy they are, right? That's why you weigh something, to figure out how heavy it is. Why do we need to measure weight? Well, doctors check the weight of babies to make sure they're growing properly. So that's one thing, right? When you go to the doctor, what's the first thing they do? That's right. They put you on the scale and they're trying to make sure that you are gaining weight and getting taller. Or some of us who have too much weight on us, they may be checking to see if we're losing weight so that we can get more healthy. So they check weights. That's one way. We weigh ingredients when we cook. Only a small quantity of flour is needed to make a cake. We weigh small quantities in ounces or grams. The flour is being weighed before it is sent to the bakery. Large quantities of flour are needed to make all the bread sold in a supermarket. Large quantities are weighed in pounds or kilograms. All right, so those are some names of some standard measurements. Everything weighs something, even very light things like letters or postcards. So you can pick up a letter or a postcard or even like a piece of paper, right? And it's very light. But look, there are lots of letters and postcards in these mail bags, and now they are heavy. What do you think? Why do you think they're heavy? Because like one piece of paper is very light, right? If you have a lot of letters or a lot of pieces of paper, it gets heavier and heavier. If mom and dad buy paper for their printer, that paper will come in a pound and you can feel that it's heavier than one piece of paper. Sometimes we can guess the weight of things. Which do you think is lighter, the feather or the stone? So you can look at this picture and you can tell me, right, which was lighter, the feather or the stone? All right, the feather. But if you wanted to make sure, you could use a scale. So if you wanted to make sure you guessed correctly, then you would weigh it, or this is a scale. And if we were in school, I would have the scale out and we could measure some stuff. But we don't have that, and I don't have the scale at home because I borrow from other teachers the scale. So, all right, guessing that one thing is heavier than another is not always easy. So sometimes by looking at things, you can't tell. They look so close that you really don't know if they're going to be able to. It's not like a feather and a stone, right? How will you find out for sure which pile of tea is heavier? So by looking at these, you can't tell which one is heavier, right? How would you find out for sure? That's right, you would put it on the scale and you would weigh it and see which one was heavier. All right, you could put a stone in one pan of the scale. Which is heavier, the tea bag or the stone? All right, look at this picture right here. Which one is heavier, the tea bags or the stone? All right. If you guess the stone, you're right. Because look, the stone is down and it's pulling the tea bags up. If the tea bags were heavier, then the tea bags would be the ones that would be down. All right. But on this side, right, they have more tea and they have the stone. Now, which one is heavier? Right, now the tea is heavier because look, it's down. Kind of like a seesaw. Have you ever been on a seesaw? If your friend is bigger than you, right, then you end up going up in the air and your friend is down. But if you are bigger than your friend, then you're the one that's down and they're up. Now you can use your feet to go up and down. But if you waited to see, you know, which way it's going to go without the force of your feet pulling, then you would see who was heavier even on a seesaw. And that's the same as the scale. Now, Mommy and Daddy probably don't have a scale like this at home, but they probably have a digital scale. So you can put things on a digital scale to see how much it weighs too. All right. Stones come in different weights. So standard weights are used to measure heaviness. We use ounces and pounds. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Many countries use grams and kilograms. 1,000 grams makes 1 kilogram. A kilogram of apples weighs exactly the same wherever you buy it. So, wherever you go, a kilogram is the same as a kilogram is the same as a kilogram. And same as the items. And we'll see that on the next page. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so here we go. If apples were heavier than a kilogram, then the scale would not balance. All right, so this weight right here is a kilogram. And if they didn't equal, right, if these apples didn't equal a kilogram, then it's going to be, it's not going to balance. So this one is going down. So we know that right now there's more than a kilogram, right? And if the kilogram is on the bottom and the apples are up, then we know now the apples are less than a kilogram. You can use scales to compare the weights of different things. A kilogram of apples is as heavy as a kilogram of potatoes. So if you have a kilogram of apples, it's the same weight as a kilogram of potatoes. Now you may have fewer apples than potatoes, but the weight is still the same. So in this case, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's probably one in the back. So maybe 6 apples equal the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 11 potatoes in this case. All right. So would a kilogram of rice weigh more than, less than, or the same as a kilogram of cheese? Would they weigh less than, more than, or the same? That's right, they're going to weigh the same because a kilogram is a kilogram no matter what the object is, right? So a kilogram of rice weighs the same as a kilogram of cheese, weighs the same as a kilogram of potatoes, weighs the same as a kilogram of apples. It's important to know how heavy things are. Clerks often weigh food when they sell it. We pay for the weight of the food that we buy. Even when food is sold in packages, the weight of the contents is marked on the label. So you could go in your pantry, right, or your refrigerator, and I bet you would find lots of weights. You would see things that say ounces, and you would probably see a lot of things say 16 ounces, 12 ounces. Your butter would say 1 pound or a half a pound. So you could go into your pantry or your refrigerator and see if you can see weights on different items of your groceries. Luggage is weighed at the airport before it's loaded onto a plane. If the plane were overloaded, it would not fly safely. Trucks and vans must not be overloaded either. This small truck could not carry something as heavy as this. Right? So some of you may have like a camper or a boat at home or have a friend with a camper or boat, and you can't really pull those boats, those big boats and campers with your small vehicle. You would have to have a larger vehicle, and so you would see it pulled with maybe a big truck or an SUV. But you wouldn't see it with your little 4-door cars or a little sports car. You wouldn't see like these big boats and stuff pulled on those. As a crane operator has to be sure that the crane is strong enough to lift the weight of the goods it is moving. Signs next to some bridges tell drivers and weight that each bridge can support it. Very heavy trucks cannot travel over the bridges. The bridges would not hold their weight. Some people lift heavy weights as a sport. How heavy were you when you were last weighed? Are you heavier now? You probably are. You know why? Because lots of times as you get taller and you add inches to your body, then that brings on more weight. All right, and that is the end of this book. And your sheet today is called Weight. All right, and there are 6 rectangles. In each rectangle, there are 2 items. And the directions say, circle the object that is heavier. So you're going to look at the first rectangle, right? And you have a bottle of glue and a leaf. So which one do you think is heavier, the leaf or the glue? That's right, my friends. The glue would be heavier, so you would go ahead and circle your glue. All right, go ahead and look through the next 5 boxes and compare the 2 objects and circle the one that is heavier. And that is today's math work. All right, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow. That was our Read Aloud and Math all in one. Bye.